And we're on. Hello and welcome to podcast episode 119 of Rope-a-Dope Boxing. We're the two Daves bringing you a review show. Well, I'm Dave G and I'm bringing you a hungover review show of everything that went on over the weekend in the wonderful world of boxing. It's been Easter weekend here, all over the whole world, to be honest. I've enjoyed myself. I'm feeling it now, but we've had a weekend full of boxing. And that's the priority for the rest of my day gets going. David boy, how are you, brother? How's your Easter weekend been, mate? Has it been as eventful as mine?
No, I've not been as pissed as you. I had a few drinks on Friday night. I am Dave H of Rope-a-Dope Boxing, and I'm not hungover today. When I saw my dad yesterday. Oh, and also I'd like to make the announcement that I'm going to the Eubank Junior Conor Benn fight next Saturday.
Hey.
I thought I'd have a little look at obviously we've been told it's the biggest event in British boxing history, all this other shenanigans. Anyway, there was tickets available. I had a look, £21. And I'm not even in the top row like I was at Dubois Joshua.
Aren't you like midway or something? Sorry,
yeah.
mate. Aren't you like midway? Yeah, it's pretty decent tickets, but from what you put on WhatsApp.
Yeah, I'm midway. And it's a 60,000 seater stadium. Yeah. Not a 95 was 96,000 what you get at Wembley, 100,000. So the midway of that, I think it'll be pretty decent. Listen, I said it to our friends on the other groups that we're in. I reckon that they'll be giving tickets away for next to nothing on Saturday morning, just to make it sound bigger event than it actually is. But I don't think it's sold. I don't think it's sold as great as what's been made out. They're saying there's 1,000 tickets left. It looks more to me. But £21. So I've got, it's Alfie's birthday, so it's worked out as a little treat for him. But yeah, I paid £10 in fees and I paid fucking £20 for the ticket. So yeah, for me and Alfie to go is like 56 quid.
You can't even get a round of drinks down your way for that, can you? So it's a bargain.
You're going to pay £25. You're going to pay £25 for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's true.
So
you might as well experience it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's why. Like I say, do you know what it is though? You see, you get people that are queuing up for these tickets on the day, and everyone's in a queue for thousands. I don't think you need to these days, mate. They're not selling out like you're being told.
Yeah.
And so I say I got my Joshua tickets for 70, 80 quid. I know I was at the top row, the highest, but I was there. But yeah, £21, 42 quid.
Yeah, you can't grumble at that price, mate. You really can't. For saying what event it is as well. It's not just a random. Don't get me wrong. We'll obviously dissect it during the week when we break down it. But for an event itself, it's absolutely huge. I mean, it's Monday morning, and it's fight week this week, obviously. But already YouTube and the television, stations and the networks are already talking about Ben Eubank. So yeah, it's a good one, man.
It's a shame you're not. It's a shame you don't live closer and you can't book your holidays. In weeks in advance, because you could have come down for it.
Yeah, I must admit, I do like watching it in my armchair, but I've never actually been, even though I love me boxing so much more than anything else in the world, I've never yet experienced a live event. So it's something it's on my bucket list, to-do list, whether it's a big event like that.
I won't give you the option for you, sick Dubois. I'm just going to get you a ticket and you'll just have to call in sick.
Don't do that. Don't do that. It's a very nice gesture.
But other than that, mate, when I saw my dad yesterday, mum and dad's mum's birthday. I saw my dad. So that's.
And how is he? How is he for us and the masses?
He's not in the greatest of health, mate. He's hanging on in there. But it's sad to see, mate. But that's what happens when you smoke too much, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, don't smoke, kids.
Don't smoke. Tell your kids not to smoke. Because although they
can't afford to. They can't afford to this day and age, Dave. It's vaping now. Don't vape, kids.
Yeah, don't vape. But like I say, I'm seeing the effects of what happens when you smoke too much. It's sad to see, but it's one of them things. And it's nice. It's a 4-day weekend, mate. Back to work tomorrow, stinker. But yeah, 4-day weekend's been lovely. I've crammed in a bit of everything. I did get the piss up on Friday. I saw the family on Saturday and Sunday. I booked boxing tickets. I watched boxing. So I've literally completed everything that I like to do within a 4-day weekend. And today's going to be one of them ones where I don't do fuck all, hopefully. So
family time. Family time today.
Yeah. Well, my kids are older, aren't they? So they want to go out with their friends and fuck about but annoy me. But other than that, yeah, it's been all right, mate.
My kids are obviously younger, but they want to go out and play. They don't want family time either. It's the missus that wants to do all that cable. And it's pissing down up here in the West Midlands.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've got to make the most of it. Right. You guys know, before we crack into the boxing, I just want to add my week has been drink fueled. Anyone that follows me on Instagram, every day I've been putting pictures of pints on it. I've been doing the same on my kids' football WhatsApp pages and things like that. My liver, Dave, has taken a fucking beating this week. I've got to rein it in. Honestly, I've got to rein it in. I had a fantastic day yesterday. We had probably the best day of the year yesterday, which fell when I watched the girls against Nottingham Forest. We weren't disgraced. We are down. Well, there's a loophole there. I'm not going to go into women's football where you guys aren't for that, but there's like a loophole where they possibly could stay up. They only lost 4-0. Nottingham Forest are more or less the champions. They brought a decent crowd down with them. There was a sausage and cider festival one, and yeah, it was a really good day, mate. It was a really, really good day. I got to meet an Aston Villa women's striker. Lola might know her, Georgia Mullet, but she's been loaned out to Southampton, but she plays for the under-23. So that kind of made my day. Beck knows her mum, and I saw her there, and I'm like, I'm 42. Am I going to go over to a 19-year-old girl and ask her a selfie? I thought, fucking damn right I am. So that would be on my Instagram page later when I fully woke up. But we didn't stay to the end last night. Everyone else was out doing the karaoke and getting pissed. Don't get it wrong, we was on the piss from 12:30 to 11. But you know what kids are like, Dave. That's too late for them. That Freya was moaning. She was so tired. It gone dark. The boys couldn't kick a ball. So instead of staying till like 2 o'clock and locking, if you like, I had to leave a little bit early. But drink fuel, guys. Dave said there about not smoking anymore. No vaping. Kids, don't drink. It's not good for you. I'm starting to look fucking old as well. Feeling old. And I think Dave wants to make a reference to my old-fashioned T-shirt, as he did off air.
I thought it was pajama day or something.
There you go. I wish it still was pajama day, mate. I really do. But let's not talk pajamas. Let's talk a bit of boxing. We'll go from Sunday backwards. I think that's the only right way to do it. So obviously yesterday, I didn't get to watch this yesterday. As I said, I was out, but woke up this morning. The first thing I done was jump onto Sky Sports and watch Ben Whittaker versus Liam Cameron part 2 over at Resorts World in Birmingham. Now, if you haven't seen it, it didn't last very long. 5 minutes of action, I think, of that. And obviously, for those of you on YouTube, by the way, like, share, and subscribe. I forgot to say that. You can tell I'm hungover. Like, share, and subscribe right now as you're listening to us. And if you're on an audio feed, give us a 5-star review, as nothing else will do. But back to my original statement. If you're watching on YouTube and listening via audio feed, I've written there on the banner, premature stoppage or justified. Now, there wasn't a lot to take out of the first round, Dave. We're not going to go back into the history of Ben Whittaker and things. Let's jump straight in with the fight. I was listening to the commentary and they were saying Ben Whittaker looks sharp. He looks this, he looked that. And I'm thinking, I know you're working for Boxer. I understand you're on the Sky Sports platform. But he hasn't done anything in this first round that he didn't do in the fucking first fight. I figure, what are you talking about? He's throwing punches that land on the gloves, and he's obviously caught Liam Cameron a couple of times. But he's not 2.0. Calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Second round, we see what happens. You know, he lands that big right, the legs wobble, and bro, you take it over before I give my opinion from what I saw.
To be fair to Ben Whittaker, the when he buzzed him, it was a great move. He took a step back, walked him onto it, wide open, bang, hit him on like sort of a temple and wobbled his legs.
Temple shot, yeah.
That was a great move. It was good stuff. But they got him into the corner and just kept throwing shots. Your banner there, premature or something, or justified. I'm stuck right between the middle. I'm on the orbit because I can see both sides of it. I'm swung. When I first see it, I thought, cool, that's premature, and it was. But he didn't catch him clean with anything. It was all on the gloves. The only thing is that Cameron wasn't throwing back, and his legs were gone. So I'm sort of torn between whether it's justified or not. That's a hard one to call, that one. He wasn't throwing back, but he wasn't taking shots. So it was a difficult one. Correct. What I think maybe should have happened is maybe he should have got a standing 8 count. Because I agree. Yeah. He did wobble back to the ropes. If that's in the center of the ring, which it may be, the ropes keep him up. So maybe I think it should have been a standing 8 count before stoppage. I think the shenanigans. I find it really hard to like Ben Whittaker. I didn't like his ring walk. I didn't like what he done in Cameron's corner after. I understand that he's gone for a lot of shit. What did he do, Dave? Did he? Because I've just watched the fight, literally, mate. Made a couple of notes, gone on to the Tyler Denny fight, etc.
but I didn't actually see what happened. I saw some comments on Instagram and things like that. Did he actually spit or something? Or did he just mouth off? Or?
No, it looks like he's gone to spit. You see him go like that, like it looks like he's gone to spit, and then he's come out after and said maybe a bit of dribble come out when he was screaming. So it looked iffy. I mean, I know they've gone back and they've looked at it. They've all like after and they've all cuddled and made up and all that sort of stuff. But I just didn't like that. There's something there's just. I mean, he's a talented boxer. He really is. He's a little bit, and like he gets compared to Nazim, but there's some sort of a horrible sort of arrogance to him that I don't really like. I've got to admit.
Yeah, you're right.
But he's one of them ones where people will, because of that, people will watch him because they want to see him get beat. So he'll always get fans watching him, regardless of whether they like him or not. I mean, he was booed in his own hometown. So they speak volumes. But there is no, there's no bad press is just as good press. So it puts bums on seats. Chris Eubank Jr. is the same, although he doesn't do quite as much, but he's quite happy to be the villain, and it sells. So, but yeah, there was comms after between Dave Caldwell and Johnny Nelson. I don't know whether you've seen that.
No, mate, I haven't.
Johnny Nelson was justifying it, saying it's emotion and all that, and Dave Caldwell, and I agree with Dave Caldwell. He's saying it's disrespectful. You know, there's no need for that. You know, they're going over to his corner. They've not done anything wrong, and and doing stuff like that. He said it's bang out of order. And then that Ben Slom's pulled Dave Caldwell, so I was slagging him off, slagging Ben Whittaker off. Okay. He's a bit of a dickhead as well. But Dave Caldwell was correct in what he was saying. I think all the rest of them who are like boxer Sky Sport puppets, sort of trying to justify Whittaker's actions. Yeah. But Dave Caldwell stuck to his guns, so you probably won't see him on another show now. That'll be him outed. But
yeah.
What I did want to say to you, Dave, is that Cameron, for me, did you see him on the scales?
Yeah, I saw the weigh in. Yeah,
I think he might have struggled to make weight. I think the weight issue might have been an issue for him.
Why do you think he looked gaunt or anything? Did you?
I don't think he looked great. I don't think he looked great on the scales. And the fact that he, I'm not saying this, and you get hit on the temple, your legs will wobble.
Yeah.
But I feel that may have had a factor in his performance here. He didn't seem like he was in the first fight. I don't know whether he struggled this time or what. I mean, I'm not making excuses for him because I don't know.
Well, mate, what can you make out of 5 minutes of action? That was my opening gambit. That was the point. They were kind of going over the top with Ben's first round performance, and I'm thinking, I sat there, watched it. I think he didn't do anything different than he did in Saudi, but apparently in Saudi, he didn't look himself. He wasn't feeling right, but he hasn't done anything different. And Liam Cameron all week's been saying, I'm just going to walk him down and take him late. So Liam Cameron, mate, didn't really do anything different to the first round in the first fight, So there's not a lot of data to take out of it. But I know I didn't really notice about the weigh, mate. I didn't take much notice in fact. But you might have a point.
I didn't actually watch the weigh at the time, but because I watched the show last night because I was indoors, and it showed the weigh-in before the fight. And when he got on the scales, I thought, he looked a little bit he looked different to me. He looked a bit gaunt, and then I'm looking, and I listen, like I say, you could get punched in the temple, it can happen to anyone. But I feel like his punch resistance wasn't there. Now I'm starting to put 2 and 2 together and come up with 10. But it just hindsight's a wonderful thing,
Yeah.
But I thought that he was taking them type of shots okay in Saudi, is what I'm trying to get at. And the first time I tried, we were fucked. But
yeah, it's an interesting theory, mate. You might have a point. Nobody knows, do they? No. I just didn't know. I'm going to have to go back and have a look at the weigh-in, to be honest. Normally, I mention things, he looked, who was it last? Oh, Boots Ellis on the scales last week. I thought he looked dreadful. And obviously, he can rehydrate to over 10 pounds. So what was this was an IBF international bollocks thing. So maybe that might have had a factor, mate. He couldn't rehydrate over 10 pounds. I don't know if that was, I didn't hear that mentioned and things like that.
No, I've not heard. No one sort of said it. It's just what when I see him get on the scales, I thought he don't look healthy to me, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
No, mate, it's a great analysis because we had this with the Eubank Jr. Conor Benn first fight with rehydration clauses and making weight and looking gaunt and looking bad on the scales. Don't get it wrong, we didn't get to the stage of Chris Eubank Jr. being on the scales for the first one, but we all saw the photographs of him leading up to it, and he looked dreadful.
Yeah.
So when you're dehydrated and you struggle to make weight, and you get hit with certain shots and certain parts of the head. Yeah. It's a factor, and this is obviously what Senior's talking about. But going back to the stoppage, mate, I totally agree with you. I watched it the first time, and I saw his leg buckle again as he leant onto the ropes, and I thought it's a bit early, but for a main event, I kind of agree. Go back and watch it again. And I've seen the comments on Twitter, mate, and a lot of people are referencing to Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk the first fight.
Yeah.
Now, yes, that was for an undisputed fight out in Riyadh, blah, 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 blah. But if we're going to start singing off the same hymn sheet, why was that not stopped? Yes, Fury goes back onto the ropes and he does get an 8 count. Why couldn't we have done that for Liam Cameron, as you said? What is the difference? There is no difference. It was very early in the fight. Yes, he was buzzed, but a lot of the work was landing onto the gloves. He did put his back onto the ropes, so you can use the kind of narrative that he was kept up by the ropes, give him a count, and go again. So you're right what you're saying, mate. Again, on first instincts, maybe the referee was in his first instincts, like a lot of people. Was that legit? And then I look back at it and I just think of the magnitude of the fight as well, the 12-week camp, how early it is, and you putting in conspiracy theories. I'm not sure. Do I want to see it again? I wouldn't mind seeing it again, seeing it go a bit longer, but it's not Ben's fault. He's done what he's had to do. He didn't stop the fight.
It's Howard Foster. It's Howard Foster again as well.
I've got to be honest, to sum it up. Sorry, Dave. Yeah, but he has got form. You're 100% right. I suppose not kind of knowing the result and going and watching it straight away and seeing it over that early, I was a little bit disappointed. I think we was all looking forward to seeing if Ben had the gas tank, if he could punch his way out, and which he did. But I kind of feel a little bit sorry for Liam Cameron, but that's boxing, man. That's the game. You know, these things happen. You just got to dust yourself off and come again, which he will. He's got himself a contract with Queensbury. I can't imagine Frank will just dump him off the back of this. He's earned himself a few quid now. A lot of people are falling in love with him. And let's hope, as I say, dust himself off and starts, going forward in his career. But before we move on to the next fight that was on the card, let's talk a little bit about Ben now. So he's the poster boy. He's supposed to be the next AJ, doing modelling in Milan. He's like, I might love him or hate him. Ben's putting a lot of time, effort and money into him. He's only had 5 minutes of action this year. So we can't go backwards from a Liam Cameron. We now need to step it up. He's got people on his books like Louis Edmondson, Dan Aziz, Willie Hutchinson, obviously with Queensbury, but we need that kind of fighter for him next, Dave, don't we? We can't start going back to Latvian bin men or English, or between English and British level. If he is the guy that we're told, he's gone in last night and he's done what he's supposed to do. Yes, there is factors surrounding it, but we need to move on. You've got your Shaka and Pitters in there as well, your Lyndon Arthurs, Willie Hutchinson, as I just mentioned. Where do we go with him next, mate? Where would you like to see Ben Whittaker go next?
Any one of them names. Edmund's got the British, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for what I think he should go for the British next. I think I think that's the right step. Go British, then Commonwealth, European. If that's the route he's going to take, then go around and do that. I'm for the traditional route. But again, Dan Aziz, the way Dan Aziz's been in his last few fights, I don't know if I can really get up for it.
It's the best time to have him is now.
Well, yeah, for names on his record, as Ben Whittaker's moving up through the rankings, then fair enough. But it's just the way what Dan Aziz has got left. He doesn't seem to be asked now. So I would go for Louis Edmondson based on the fact that he's got the British. And then work that route. That seems like the sensible thing to do for me. It's a winnable fight as well. Lou Emerson doesn't do anything great. He's another one that is quite happy to scrape through. So Ben Whittaker could go in there and look good doing it really with a Louis Emerson and bag a British title and take that route. That's what I think he should do.
Yeah, I agree, mate. Just on the back of that, I didn't really take a lot out of the fight. To be honest, Dave, with you, apart from. Yeah, just caught him on the temple. He didn't do anything different for 5 minutes.
He did. It was a good move. He sort of walked him onto it. He sort of fainted, let Liam throw a punch, left himself.
We know he's got skills. Yeah, we know he's got skills.
He has, and he can box. And he didn't do any of the old showboating. It seemed like he was more switched on with this. But I would have liked to seen it gone a little bit longer to see what he really has got. Because there's still question marks on how he gassed after 4 or 5 rounds. That's still over. That hasn't gone away.
When you say question marks as well, sorry, mate. When you say question marks, because we will move on to other fights. Did you notice? Well, I said I switched over more or less straight away, but I noticed the relief and the tears. I saw the tears on Twitter of Ben Whittaker. Now, for someone to be that relieved, it was. I don't know. I suppose I'm playing devil's advocate. Was he relieved that he managed to do it that quickly, or was he relieved that he got the win and he? In his heart of hearts, I mean, I didn't think he looked that confident in his ring walk. I thought he looked a bit nervous, to be honest. I saw it again, waxing lyrical about, he looks up for this. He looks razor focused, sharp. This is his night. Yeah, went on to be his night. But there was tears as well. What were those tears of? Relief, joy? I don't know.
Listen, I quite listen. Like, there's a lot I don't like about him, but I do like passion, and I do like someone that wears their heart on their sleeve, and and is, if he didn't do all the shit he done in between there, gone to there, and then won the fight the way he did, went over to Liam Claren and thanked him, was humble, and then had some tears. He would gain so many more fans from that type of approach, because that side of it I like, because it shows he cares, it shows he wanted to win, and everyone can get behind him from that. But when he acts a prick in between that, the tears men mean nothing to people, because you think, oh fuck off, you was just spitting to someone 2 minutes ago, now you're crying. So I think he needs an image makeover for me. Someone in there to say, look, come on, like I say, because he could get a big fan base behind him if he was a little bit more humble. There's too much arrogance there about it, and there's a fine line between arrogance and and ignorance, and with him. But like I say, when he shows that side, the human side of it, he would get fans. But he does things that ain't right.
Yeah, totally agree, mate. Right, Big Fraze was back out as well on this card. He took on old Ebenezer Tete. Yes, we didn't really preview it last week. We spoke about it. It wasn't in our prediction league. First round TKO stoppage, Dave. Good to see from Big Fraze. Obviously, we got badly hurt last time against Fabio Waldy. Looked like he had a stroke, like you said. There was going to be questions whether he would engage, have flashbacks, because Tete does like to throw. But it kind of went, I didn't see it going this way, this quick, I've got to be totally honest. But old Ebenezer weren't happy, was he? He had a right tantrum in the ring. Fuck me.
He grabbed up the referee.
Yeah.
He did get put on his arse, and it was a bad knockdown. I with the way he got stopped, I think that was more justified than Cameron.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because he was on the seat of his pants, like, and
then he went to hold on.
His legs were gone.
Yeah,
his legs were gone, and he was about to get stopped. So I've got no issues with the way the ref stopped his fight. But the most exciting part of that fight was Ebenezer giving it to the ref. He had to get out of the ring. He wasn't in it for the announcement of the winner. But it just goes to show, though, like I say, fair play to Fraze, Big Fraze, because look at this, and that was a bad knockout. That I want to say a career ending, but it can be, but also the mental side of that. Sometimes you'll never recover from a hefty knockout like that.
Yeah.
So, and he's got, and like I say, if you're going to start doing it on people's previous opponents and stuff like that, like we do, measuring sticks, then how bad is Dillian White at this stage?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Daniel Dubois stopped this guy in one round. Big Fraser's done it in one round. And it was a dodgy, like a shitty ending to the 7th round for Dillian White. So, yeah, fair play to him. He's done what he's had to do. He's got that monkey off his back now, really. And listen, he still hasn't been chin checked. That'll be the biggest test when he takes a full-blooded shot. And but he's wiped him out in one round. I mean, what more can you do?
I liked his attitude as well, Fraser. You see in the clock, he looked like a wounded animal, didn't he? Not a wound. Now that's the wrong terminology. Not wounded. He looked like a caged animal. He was prowling. Get me out there. I'm going to show you now that I mean business. I'm not going to come here to box. I'm going to come here to destroy. And that's what he done. I liked it as well because once he got up, Tete, he smelt blood and went after him. And Tete was hanging on. So I agree. The stoppage was more justifiable than the Ben Whittaker fight. But he's 33 now, Dave. Ben's got to stop fucking about with him. Time's running out. He's past his prime. Give him some fights. And as you just mentioned there, probably the next fight for him could be or should be Dillian White. Give him a Dillian White. It'd be the biggest name on his resume. Because I don't think he's nowhere near ready for the top boys. I mean, look what I know. It's one shot of Fabio Wardley, but, it happens. Fabio Wardley's going on in this direction now. Fraser Clark probably needs a name, a stepping stone, because we both agreed that Dillian White is not world level anymore. Whether he has been or not is a topic for another day. I'd put him with Dillian White next. Dillian White hasn't got many years left. So Fraser Clark's got this new attitude about him, seek and destroy, if you like. I think that's a perfect match. He's only had 3 minutes of action, if that. Get him back out soon. I don't know what you think, mate, but that's the way I would go. If not, where do we go?
There was talk about it after that he would face the winner of Adelaide TKV too. I think I can sort of see it, but
I can see it.
But like you said there, if he's like say he's 33 and time's not on his side, I think he needs to go above that. But that's what's being muted. So, but yeah, Dillian White. I think Dillian White's he's been on the downward slide for a while. If Fraser Clark got in with him, done a number on him, that would propel him into fringe world level based on his name, people he's been in with. So we'll see what's next for Big Fraze. But I did like the way he approached this fight myself. Like I say, he was on the front foot, showed some intent, and was quite happy to try and take him out, which is what he needs to do.
We're not used to seeing that from him, are we, really, Fraze?
No, you're not. No. So it was a good approach.
Yeah. Good luck to him going forward. Tyler Denny versus Elvis Akora. Character all week yet again. The African soldier went to 10 rounds that was scheduled for. Davis went exactly the way I thought it would. Tyler Denny got the result, a points win. Tyler Denny's obviously his boxing skills are a level above Akora. Yeah. Good fight, exciting fight. Akora is definitely the power puncher between the two of them. Denny was hurt a couple of times, especially to the body, took a step back, but it was kind of one-way traffic. I thought the only thing, and you nailed it last week. You compared Callum Simpson to Tyler Denny. The only thing lacking is the punch power, because he caught Elvis some big hooks, left and right, some great shots, and he just kind of ate them all up, Elvis. Whereas Callum Simpson hit him, he fucking felt it, didn't he? So I'm glad for Denny. But by the way, what weight was this at? I still don't understand what weight this was at, because he fought at 168, Akora against Simpson. This was supposed to be at 168. And then on the weigh-in day, was it the weigh-in day or the presser? Tyler Denny was saying he's not sure what weight he's fighting at. So it's not an issue, but I wasn't sure. Did you catch what weight this was at, mate?
No, I didn't even notice. No.
Either way, Denny got the job done. I think we expected him to, but I think Elvis will get a lot more work on what he's like in the wing, his character. He comes to fight. He's entertaining, isn't he, Elvis?
Oh, he is. He sells himself very well. Like, he's an African soldier and all that sort of stuff he comes out with, and he's recruiting soldiers. He's fundamentals. He hasn't got any fundamentals, but he is a tough man. And Tyler Denny boxed his head off. But like I say, you said it there, the only criticism is that Tyler Denny doesn't hold enough power to earn respect. So people who don't have much skills and have got a puncher's chance will just go straight at him.
Yeah.
And they will get outboxed, but all the time they got a puncher's chance, they're in the fight. And that's the only thing that worries me with Denny, is that he doesn't have enough power to keep him off. But like I say, he's got great skills, and it was a good work for him.
Yeah. I didn't catch any of the Sam Eggington fight. I've seen the result and what happened, but I haven't seen anything to highlight, mate.
Yeah, what went on? Go on. Typical Sam Eggington fight. Lots of work in the pocket, center of the ring. Heads going in quite a lot. There was a lot of damage to Sam Eggington from the head clashes. When it got stopped, it was a punch that stopped it. But the referees have said that they weren't looking at that cut that had just come. They were looking at the other one. Both his eyes were out here. I thought it was a lot closer. Than what Sam Eggington. They stopped it after 8 rounds and whatnot, and went to the scorecards. And Sam Eggington won, but I thought it was a lot closer than that. I thought it could have gone either way for me. So they may run that one back, but yeah, it was a blood and guts sort of fight, as it always is with Sam Eggington.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. You don't normally see him in shit fights, or he's normally in close fights, isn't he, as well? And some fights he's supposed to win, he loses.
Yeah, for me, this was closer than what the judges are giving it.
Fair enough. There's always a lot of love for Sam Eggington, bless him. Yeah. But yeah, I'll have to crack into that when I get 5 minutes during the week. Right, we'll go back to Saturday night now. The Community Air Arena, should I say, in Sheffield. It's one of the smaller ones. Hometown hero Dalton Smith was doing his thing against Canada's Matteo Germain. A unanimous points decision for Dalton. Dave put his opponent down 3 times. He got deducted a point himself for constant low blowing. Won every second of every round, really. But I've put there, did we expect more from Dalton? Now, as boxing fans, I've said on here 1,000 times before, we are fickle. Me and Dave are fickle as well. We say one thing and then we come up with another thing. But 9 times out of 10, it's based on what have you done for me lately. Now, let's be totally honest, mate. Dalton got the win. He gave the fans, 10 rounds, whatever it was, 12 rounds. Looked good in doing it. Done Dalton Smith things. His opponent was a bit more of a mover compared to Walid Wizard, where Walid Wizard just stood in front of him and let him tee off. But to nail it down, I think me, yourself, and the boxing community expected Dalton to dispatch this guy within a couple of rounds. And I was quite surprised, even though I've kind of given him a bye, if you like. I was quite surprised this went the distance, to be honest, Dave.
Yeah, I am. I thought it was an okay performance. I think the movement, and which could be a factor for Dalton Smith later down the line. I don't think he coped well as well as I would have hoped him to with the movement.
Yeah.
Of him, like he was trying to be awkward, and I think Dalton Smith gets frustrated. Was getting frustrated with that. Yes, he got the 3 knockdowns. The second knockdown was a shot on the arms, hit him on the shoulder and knocked him down. So they weren't concussive knockdowns. No. They were like I say. I feel like he got a little bit frustrated in this fight and lost a little bit of concentration. Knew he was going to win it anyway, and then as the fight wore on, he knew it was sort of going to go the distance. But yeah, I thought it was an okay performance. He had with the movement, etc., of his opponent and the frustration stuff. It makes with the Adam Azim, because they always get Adam Azim, and had that sort of pace that Adam Azim can throw, how fast his hands are, the movement that he's got.
Yeah.
When you look at this for Dalton Smith and this performance here, you start to think, how would he live with Azim?
And that is what I meant by fickle. Now we're talking about Adam Azim being far too fast for Dalton, but on the back of the Whizzer fight, we're thinking, can Dalton, can Azim take that power if he comes straight for him? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, go on, mate. Sorry, but you bang on. Now we're thinking Adam Azim beats Dalton Smith based off his last performance, aren't we?
It is. I know, and it's a mad thing, because if he walks in there, blasts this guy out in 2 rounds, you're thinking, oh yeah, he's good. But styles make fights. And when you see this guy, all that movement, and you think Dalton should have took him out and he didn't, you're starting to think, is that his kryptonite? Is that something that some other people are looking at thinking, listen, he didn't cope well with that. Yes, if opponent's going to stand there and stand in front of him and try and fight him on the inside and fight him in the pocket in the center of the ring, then it's tailor-made for Dalton Smith.
Tailor-made, yeah.
But movement seems to be the key here, and I feel like that was the frustration, and I feel like Dalton Smith was frustrated in the end, because when he did knock him down in the last 2 rounds, he was sort of cheering to the crowd like, oh, like I mean, it was an okay performance for me. It was an okay.
I think that's right.
One.
No, it wasn't. And with his opponent, the way he was moving, Jermaine, he was trying to cut the ring off, and every time he got into the corner of the ring, he had enough foot movement to to pivot to the side or get out of the way. And you're right, it was frustrating Dalton Smith as well. But if he was kind of boxing on the back foot and point scoring, it could have made it a bit more interesting, if you like, in terms of the scorecard, but because he was just in there it looked like he was in there to survive, really. He threw a few shots, he caught Dalton a few times, nothing to trouble him, but it was an okay performance. And as I just said there, we mentioned Adam Azim, and you got Puello, who he's supposed to be mandatory for. That's a joke. This is what we say on this podcast, and not just ours, all other fellow boxing podcasts. The sanctioning bodies mean absolutely nothing. So Dalton's sitting there, number 1 spot. He's had a fight here to kind of keep his number 1 spot. He's mandatory. He's mandatory. He hasn't been called. But now we find out on the Sunday morning that Uncle Turkey's, come along with his big checkbook and his bags full of cash and says, right, I'm not interested in seeing Alberto Puello versus Gary Antoine Russell, the second fight. I've got no interest in that unification, not for me. Dalton Smith is sitting at number 1. I've just watched Dalton. Now, didn't enjoy that. Rubbish. I like Subriel Mateus. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give Mateus a big money. I'm going to ask him how much money he wants. I'm going to ask Puello how much money he wants, along with Al Haven, because Al Haven doesn't like his fight. He's fighting outside of PBC. I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to put that fight on, and he's bloody done it. Now, Dalton Smith sitting there, still waiting to be called, and he's not going to be called. We're going to have another situation, Dave, with Dalton Smith, just like Jack Cattrall. And do you know what I think? I think them two should end up fucking fighting if you can't get the Adam Azim fight. But back to the sanctioning bodies, mate. Uncle Turkey just doing Uncle Turkey things. He's made a fight. Mauricio Sullivan's probably gone, well, I'm going to take 3% out of an Uncle Turkey purse rather than Dalton Smith versus Alberto Puello over at PBC when no sod's going to watch at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Let's go, motherfuckers. So it makes sense. But yeah, I can see a Dalton Smith situation exactly the same as Jack Cattrall, and I can see them two fighting each other down the line.
Yeah, like I say, but Dalton Smith's in one of them positions now where does he sit on his mandatory and fight fucking bin men just to keep himself in the number 1 spot? Or, which happens so many other times before, they take a chance and you get beat and you're down the rankings again. You've got to build yourself all the way back. And so he's between a rock and a hard place at the moment. And like I say, if he goes in with anyone that's not no name, the fans are going to be on his back. So he's in a bit of a shitty position at the moment.
But I reckon, Dave, sorry, mate, I reckon he was expected to be, mandated properly or called after this fight, right? You've got, 12-week camp, Puello, get yourself ready, whether it goes to purse bids or whatnot. But that hasn't happened. I just said Uncle Turkey said fancies this fight with Mateus. Mateus is coming off, 2 C-level opponents that he's beat on his rebuild, and he's got himself a free shot at the WBC gold. Yeah. I mean, it's a wild, wild west, man. It just it's not doesn't work how it's supposed to.
No,
that is my point. But yeah, as you said, mate, an okay performance there from Dalton Smith. Right, Josh Padley, everyone's favourite, the electrician's favourite, the construction's favourite, Dave's favourites. We're all on the train. It was a lovely start for Josh Padley. His opponent against Marko Vitanovic. For how long it lasted, don't get me wrong, Eddie and Team Padley and his management team have done a really, really good job in cherry picking this guy out of Serbia with the 13-0 unbeaten record. Looks fantastic to the casual fan. But as boxing fans like me and you, Dave, and everybody else listening to this, you can't fool us. I enjoyed the fight. Josh Padley was levels above this opponent.
Yeah.
Took him to school, got the stoppage, highlight reel knockout, fantastic start to your full-time pro career of a matchroom.
Yeah.
Don't feed us this shit again. This opponent was dreadful.
Yeah.
This was probably one of the worst opponents I've ever seen on a card, and I'm not exaggerating. He couldn't move his feet. He couldn't set his feet. It was falling across his feet. He couldn't set a shot up. He couldn't find the range. He was really well open. I don't understand what level of fighter he's been fighting in Serbia, Dave. I just thought it was awful. So I'll give Josh this one. I'll give Eddie this one. As my opinion as a boxing fan, doesn't mean fuck all to them, what I think. Must do better. Must do better next time. And Maxi Hughes, somebody like that, because Maxi Hughes is whatever age he's at now, with his rebuild, his comebacks, is a million times better than this Marko Vitanovic, or absolutely awful. And then we start talking about, a Mark Chamberlain part 2 narrative behind it. But I'm so pleased for him with the story and all that comes with it. Feed me somebody better next time, because that was dreadful, Dave. That's a dreadful opponent. Sorry.
Like you say there, we'll give him the first one. It's his first one under his contract and the match room. If it was his debut, that's the sort of opponent he would get, and you wouldn't be up in arms about it. So we'll give him that first one. But I'm with you, the opponent wasn't great. It wasn't great. It's almost like one of us got in there with Josh Padley. Josh Padley was arms, hands go,
so easy
repertoire. It was almost like he was Shakur Stevenson at one point. And,
that's good. I'm going to use that. That's brilliant. That's exactly what it was. Yeah. And you're one for talking about fundamentals on here. You're always talking about fundamentals. That guy had none.
No. But the shots that Padley was willing to throw, and you could tell that it was levels above, because he was throwing shots that he would never usually throw, but because he's up against an opponent that can't throw back, can't set his feet, he's going through the repertoire. So yeah, listen, again, I don't want to take anything away from Padley. He's a fan favourite. We like him. His story's brilliant. We will give him the first one. You'll put it. It's almost like his debut of Matchroom, so there was always going to be someone that was going to be great. But listen, he's
great cherry pick. Great cherry pick to confuse the casual fan.
He's got a good win, a good stoppage in front of a big crowd. Because let's get it right. When he beat Mark Chamberlain, I was on a bus trying to get there, and when I got there, it was empty. So
it's in front of 5 people.
His win over Mark Chamberlain, which it was, didn't get the recognition because there's 3 people there, including him and Mark Chamberlain. So he's got his win under the lights. In a decent enough crowd. He's got a stoppage. So fair play to him, and just boost him now. I'm with you. Maxi Hughes, any type of guy around that sort of level, around that sort of ranking would do now. But yeah, you can't have another one like that. There's building a fight. But the fans that Josh Padley has gained, and he has gained a lot, will start to dwindle if he starts getting opponents like that regularly.
Yeah. Josh Warrington, obviously on this card as well. As if Khan was the opponent, we just see Mick Conlon going with him, doing 8 or 10 rounds, whatever it was. Looked okay doing it. The only thing I've learned from this, Dave, is that Josh Warrington hits a little bit harder than Mick Conlon, but I think we knew that anyway. As if Khan went down, he's a tough old Indian kid. This one, it really is. He was in there to the end. I thought Josh will get rid of him, but looking at Josh now, Dave, at the age of 34, and the same with Mick, I think both of them are not going to win a world title. I mean, Mick's never won one, but Josh has. He's won. What's he won now? 2 in his last 7. I suppose you could dissect his last opponents, the ex-world champions, things like that. But I don't know. I've always been kind of excited watching Josh Warrington, irrelevant of the opponent, whether it be a world level opponent, a bin man, if you like. He's always kind of put me on the edge of my seat. I just got a little bit bored watching this. Give credit to As If Khan? He was as tough as they come. I don't, he spat his gum shield out a couple of times. Yeah, but I just couldn't. I was just kind of trying to analyze it, mate. I don't know if he's that guy anymore. But what I do know is that Mick Conlon and Josh Warrington should get together and earn a lot of money doing a fight in Leeds or a fight in Belfast. And to be fair to Josh, he's always said it. He's always wanted it. Whatever promotional company he's been with, he wants that day out in Vegas or Madison Square Garden. And Eddie's been loyal to him. He's been loyal to Eddie. You know, he's earned Eddie money, etc. Do the Conlon fight. Whoever wins, it doesn't matter. Then take your army over to the States and fight whoever over there. You know, and then wave goodbye then. Because, as I said, mate, I do love Josh Warrington. You know, he does fight dirty. He always has done. You know, he leans with a head and uses the forearm and things like that. But he's been a great servant to British boxing.
Yeah.
But it's one of the first fights I've kind of watched Josh, a relevant level opponent. I was kind of bored. When he got the knockdown, I thought, thank fuck for that. Let's go. Khan got up and carried on. But yeah, what do you think, mate? What do we do with Josh Warrington now? I don't see him as a title contender at all.
No, I think he's a name to stack a card now, which is a shame, really, because he's a former world champion. He does have a big fan base, but he's one of them sort of mid-carders now, where you think, oh, well, Josh Warrington's on, you know what I mean? It packs out a card that you're trying to do. I'm with you. He's always been an exciting fighter based on work rate. You know, he's been high pressure, you know, lots of volume and stuff like that now. But it seems to have dipped, and it would be at 34 years old. So now, you know, he's steaming forward, but there's not a lot of it. You know, he's never been one punch power. He's always been accumulative. But I'm with you. It's sort of come to like a run of the mill sort of thing now. Now, like I say, this fight was okay. It was an okay fight. Like I say, Khan was getting on my nerves. Really, he was spitting his gum shield out. He was moaning about the back of the head. You know, there was a lot
of that, though, to be fair to him, Dave. As I said, Josh Warrington does use the dark arts. He's a bit of a dirty fighter, and there was a lot behind the head, and he was getting fed up. But I do agree, he was moaning far too much. But I found him quite tough as well. He kept getting up. You know, he was in there, he tried. But this is a kid they plucked out from Bombay or wherever it is, mate. So you're thinking your Mick Conlons and Josh Warringtons at that level they've been at should have done a little bit better. And that's why I'm not kind of sold on them going forward as winning world titles, you know?
I'm not sold on them, no. They should be dismantling this guy. And a couple of years ago, they would have done. You know, when Josh Warrington went in with Frampton and Lee Selby and all that, would absolutely smash this guy to pieces. So there is decline. But that's why, you know, I'm with you. I think the only thing they can do is fight each other, and that's what it's being geared for.
Yeah. He was the barometer on Saturday night. Khan was the barometer who does it better. And to be honest, apart from the knockdown, I don't think either outshined each other, do you? I mean... No, but yeah, I'd love to see Josh get his opportunity with his fans, with his army over in the States. Who knows? He's got a year left probably. But yeah, just quickly, guys. Kievan Agiarko was a late replacement fighting against Ryan Kelly on this show. He's a replacement for Ishmael Davis. Close fight, good fight actually. You know, you win a couple of rounds. Agiarko win a couple of rounds. It was a decent close fight. I think it was the right result. I think Agiarko did nick it by a couple of rounds, and that kind of sets it up for Agiarko to fight Ishmael Davis going forward, mate. Did you see any of that fight on the Sheffield card?
A lot closer.
What did you think?
I thought Kelly.
Oh, did you? Fair enough. Go on.
I thought Kelly done enough to nick it for me. I thought.
Fair enough.
I think he was a little bit hard done by, and he wasn't. And at the end of the fight, you could see he was putting his arms in everything in it. I thought he had the cleaner work for me.
See, I saw different. I saw the more eye-catching work for me was from Agiarko. So yeah, it's good. It was a close fight. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel Kelly should be a little bit hard done by.
Oh, interesting. Would you mind seeing that run back? Because I actually enjoyed that fight. Out the whole card, I thought that was a close fight. It was exciting at times. There was big punches being landed. Let's say Kelly won a couple, Agiarko won a couple, then vice versa. So yeah, fair play. Fair enough there. Let's jump over to California. Undisputed flyweight champion Gabriella Fundora headlining for the first time on Golden Boy. That shows you how much Oscar De La Hoya and the team think of her. I think exactly the same of her. She took on unbeaten Mexican Marilyn Amaya. On this main event, Gabriella Fundora she's a pleasure to watch. She really, really is. She's one of the faces. She's got to be one of the faces, if not the face, going forward in women's boxing. She's an undisputed champion. Nobody gets close to beating her. She's tall, rangy, hits like fuck. She's exciting to watch. And this was amazing. To cap this off, Dave, Marilyn Amaya, she came, she tried, she's Mexican, but Gabriella made her say no mas. She made a Mexican say no mas. She got knocked to the floor, got up and shook her head. I don't want any more. Yeah. I've fallen in love with her. She is so good. She's so, who I mean, who gets close to beating her? I've had a nosy, through the rankings and things like that. She's only 23. She's going to be a multiple weight world champion. I'm trying to kind of rush things now. You've done fly, move on, superfly, bantam, and meet someone like Ellie Scotney in between who's going to put it on you or ask you questions. But rather than me matchmake, I just want to go back to the fight. I thought she was fantastic. I love watching Gabriella Fundora. Every fight she fights the same, but it's one of the only girls in the females division amongst a limited bunch that we know is going to hit hard and possibly stop her opponent. And she done it on Saturday night.
Yeah, she did. Like I say, she's just so tall and rangy. They just can't nullify and get underneath long levers to get shots off. They just don't have the footwork to it. This opponent definitely didn't. And she just tees off on her. I mean, you said there about who can beat her. There's one girl we know can beat her. And
if only,
and she comes on our show regularly. But it's a tough nut to crack, I have to admit. Like I say, it's so hard to fight against someone so much taller than you, having to punch up. And she, like I say, she just stands centre of the ring, and she doesn't do anything sparkling, anything. It's just straight 1-2s, which is what she needs to do, and it's just bang, and she just breaks her opponent's heart, breaks her opponent's will. And
breaks them down, Dave, as well. She breaks them in those 2 minutes. Remember, we're talking 2 minutes here. She does a lot of work in those 2 minutes, and that's why I love watching her, because she's there to seek and destroy as well.
She throws a lot of punches. She is exciting. She's got a lot. She has got a lot, but she's also got an advantage that is God-given. Like I say, that height difference makes so much of a difference. How she makes the weight is another thing as well. But
she looks healthy as well, didn't she? She does look healthy on the scales as well. Don't get me wrong, she's weighing in at 112 pounds. She doesn't walk around at 112 pounds, but she does seem to make weight quite comfortably. I don't know. And brothers the same, exactly the same. They don't look gaunt or vacant or dry on the scales. They look like they're supposed to be at that weight, but in reality, they're probably not. They're like freaks of nature, man.
Their body shape, you can just see. They're like the boxing versions of Peter Crouch.
Yeah,
they are. There's no muscle mass there. They just get lanky and gangly. Yeah. Like Sebastian, like he's 6'5" and he's 154 pounds. It's madness. Like he's taller than some heavyweights.
Yeah,
most heavyweights. And you know what I mean. And he's walking around at light middle. So it's mad. And like I say, it's God given. And so like it's just so hard for any of them girls to nullify that. I mean. Yeah, I mean, you just got these octopus-like levers just coming at you, and there's just nothing you can do about it. And like I say, so then she got dropped with a great straight right hand that put her down, and then the referee's counting to 8. She got straight back up, but the referee's counting to 8, and she's just shaking her head from 5, going no. He got to 8. He went, "You want to carry on?" She went, "No," and that was it. No mass.
Yeah, for a Mexican.
Yeah, it's madness. It's madness. But like I say, Gabriella Fundora, she's got a lot great volume. She's got a great work rate, but she just throws the 1-2. There's no other sort of combination she needs to throw. She just straight on you, standing right in front of you and throwing a 1-2, and you can't. They can't do anything about it. They just cannot do anything about it. Someone that's going to beat her is going to have some lateral movement to slip and slide, get under the long levers like that, and try and go to the body, then go up. Like almost like Mike Tyson did.
Yeah.
Heavyweights. He was a smaller guy, so he tucked up and he just went underneath and then sort of sprung up. That's the only way, and I don't know any females that can do that. So it's a difficult one. It's a really difficult one. But you're fighting genetics.
You're right. That's why I kind of jumped the gun a little bit, because looking down at the rankings, there's no one in the next 2 divisions above her. On paper, it looks like they can actually trouble her at all, irrelevant of the weight. And that's why I kind of alluded to Ellie Scotney. Now, I say Ellie Scotney do me matchmaking because we've just seen this week that Golden Boy are working, or have worked with MVP, Jake Paul Promotions, by putting Zerdo Ramirez on the undercard. If you forget Jake Paul, Chavez, I'm not interested in that, but they've worked together to put a fight on. And obviously, who has MVP just signed? Ellie Scotney. And who's the best fighter down in these divisions at the moment? Gabriella Fundora. So going forward, mate, it could be something, something to look forward to, because to sum this fight up, mate, I can't see who she fights. I can't see who gets her any jeopardy. No one can get near her, as you rightly said. You summed it up beautifully. I mean, the Mexican girl on Saturday was lunging in as well. It was just there was game plans there. She tried, but she just couldn't work her out. It's a puzzle, like I said about her brother. There's a puzzle there that needs solving. And I think just going up the divisions is Ellie Scotney, maybe the only girl that, physically and technically IQ that might ask her a few questions. She's, a champion herself, but so good to watch. I love watching her. But yeah, hopefully now she can move up. I don't want to see her fight cannon fodder for the rest of her career, Dave. Will she get the credit for it as well? Winning multiple belts. And then we look at the CV. We thought, well, she's crap, she's rubbish, she's this, she's that. A bit like Clarissa. Clarissa doesn't get she doesn't get the same plaudits that Katie does because of the CV.
Yeah.
So yeah, well done, Gabriella Fundora. We stopped with Friday night. We're nearly coming to an end now. We did speak last week. We were going to do Michael Hunter against Christopher Lovejoy. Obviously, that fight got pulled courtesy of Don King. So we jumped in and had a nosy at Lenier Pero. Eddie co-promotes him. Didn't realise till we done a bit of homework last week, guys. He was fighting out in Florida on Friday nights. Unbeaten Cuban heavyweight. He took on world ranked 355 Teddy Webster. Now, I'm not going to say his first name. They were calling him Teddy on Friday night, early hours Saturday morning for us in the UK. He's 36 years of age. It wasn't supposed to be any kind of test. Me and Dave both said on there he needs rounds. I think he's had six rounds, 6 minutes of boxing in the last 2.5 years. So he needed rounds. We didn't expect him to get rounds against this level opponent. And we both said last week, mate, we'll have a look at him. We'll come back. We'll talk about what we saw. And I've got to admit, I was disappointed what I saw on. He doesn't box like a Cuban. He boxes like. Do you remember Lucas Brown versus Jarrell Miller out in fucking Dubai? Yeah. When it was just two big heavyweights slugging at each other, no defense, open for the best. It was rubbish. I'm disappointed in what I saw. I've got to be totally honest. I mean, in our prediction league last week, I went for a first round stoppage. A Cuban, an amateur pedigree, an Olympian going in with this level of opponent. Don't get me wrong. He landed some big shots on Teddy, really big shots, but he just soaked them up. There was a few low blows in there. But he got caught with so many shots himself. And the first thing we think of as boxing fans, well, you're ranked quite high with the WBA. I've got no idea why. Maybe it's Eddie's association with the WBA, why they've put him that high. I don't know. But he doesn't deserve to be there, what I watched on Friday night. And I'm thinking the top boys, they're eating for breakfast. Moses Atuma, get him in Moses Atuma. If you want to talk about levels and stepping up, he'll destroy him in a couple of seconds. I've got to admit, Dave, I love boxers. I'm in all of them. As I've always said, I don't like to slag them off, but I'm just using the optic test. No, not for me. I don't know. I don't know who they're going to put him in with next. Because if you're struggling with a 36-year-old, 400 ranked fighter in the world, and you're struggling to get rid of, I'm not too sure. What did you make of it, mate? You're smirking there. I mean, I've seen some good performances this weekend, but I've also seen some dog shit. Sorry.
I don't think it's been a great weekend for boxing. I don't think any of the cards have been that great. I've got to be honest. Like, the card wasn't great. Like it was, there was a few bit times you could list him for your phone. Pero. I did say last week from the clips that I'd seen from him, I still think he's got a lot to do. From what I see from like you could see he was an amateur, but the way that he sort of stepped in, but I felt like his left hand was very low. There was still a lot to do for him to become a fully fledged pro. And that fight is giving me more questions than answers. I don't know what the tactics were because he was using this fight like a Weatherspoon sort of punch up.
Yeah, it was, and that's not tongue in cheek. I 100% agree with you. It was very Weatherspoon's Yates's fight on a Saturday night, sluggish. Yeah, it's awful, Dave.
And the thing is, as well, like we said there, he's an amateur. So they don't usually, they usually when they come into the pros, they still got that amateur style, which is what I saw going into this.
Yeah,
he didn't even revert back to that where he got up on his toes and was, it was all just clubbing shit like bang, boom, crash. It was just there was no thought in his work. It was. It's almost like he's probably got caught up in the hype of I'm fighting a 300th rank. I'm going to take him out. And was so one-track minded in it that his boxing fundamentals went out the window where he didn't try and break his opponent down and stop him. He's just going for these one wild shots. And in that, he's getting caught with shots, silly shots himself. And like I say, I feel like his hands are low anyway. But yeah, in the end, it was just an awful fight. And he's gone backwards. He's got people are going to look at that now. Start like his name was starting to get out there a little bit. We were talking about him. I've seen other media outlets talking about him, and he puts on a display like that. So now it's almost like he's gone backwards in his career based on one fight. I know we're fickle, and we are, But yeah, you know, everyone's looking at it thinking he's got no chance.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I'm not sold. I'll say for the clips that I'd seen prior to this fight, I was, you know, I could see where he needed to make improvements. But now I'm looking at it and thinking he needs to make a lot more than I even thought.
I'm glad he's got rounds. That's the positive I will take out of it.
Yeah,
but he's got rounds.
He has got rounds, but at the same time, he hasn't done well in them rounds. You know, you look at that and think, obviously, like you said, he's had 6 rounds in 2 years.
6 minutes. 6 minutes.
Or 6 minutes in 2 years. But you still, if you want to get rounds in a fight, you still need to dominate each round and win it, and win each round as if you're winning each. Like you said, every round's a separate fight. Still got to go there and win each round and win them well to have any sort of benefit from them. Not like this where you're scraping through and you're getting caught with silly shots. You know, you might as well not have the rounds. So it's disappointing for him. Like, he isn't sitting up on my list of people to watch. Put it that way.
No, that's a good way to end it, mate. His brother's out May the 10th. So we'll have a nose at his brother, see what his brother's like. He's ranked number 11 with the same sanctioning body.
He was so bad that we're put off by his brother.
That's true. We're trying him once, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. We'll give him a go, but bloody hell, his brother ain't done him no favours.
No. Just to end the show, guys, on Friday, I had a couple of beers in bed, put YouTube on. Russia was the destination. Luckily, we had English commentary, which is always good. I'm talking about Sergey Kovalev saying goodbye to the boxing world after, a 16-year pro career, 35-5-1, 29 knockouts to say goodbye. Got an air of Arthur Man, Dave. Looked old, as we expected. We knew he looked old anyway. He's kind of turned old overnight. Still, throws a few good shapes and nice silhouettes and whatnot. Got the stoppage. So pleased for him. Hopefully now, at the age of 42, he walks away. He's made some money. Hopefully he goes into doing some sort of coaching or TV punditry role in Russia and things like that. However, I heard some people talking at the weekend and it kind of made perfect sense. There was an IBA belt on the line over in Russia. It's not relevant, ladies and gentlemen. It's just the same as an IBO, probably even worse. It's a bit like that one Ricky Hatton used to have. Who was that? A WBU belt he used to have anyway. I just hope, someone said it the weekend, it made perfect sense, as I just said there, that knockout win doesn't give Kovalev confidence to think that he can still do it at the top table. I hope he just bows out now with the knockout stoppage of Arthur Man and walks away. I'm not sure he does, mate. What did you make of it anyway? Did you see Kovalev on Friday night, dude?
Yeah, I didn't see the full fight, but I did see. I've seen bits and pieces, bits and bats of it. It's one of them. I hope he goes through with it now, because with a win like that, like you said, you can think you've got another one in you, and you've always got another one in you until you get stopped heavily. So yeah, like you said there, he did throw some good shapes, but he looked slow doing it. It's Father Time catches up with us. So he was a great ambassador. He had it, and when it was his time, he was a great fighter. But it comes to us all, and we'll we shall see. But yeah, I caught bits and pieces of it. He done a few good bits, and like you say, got a stoppage. So hopefully that's where he signs off and goes. That's the last one. It's always nice to go out like that.
We're not calling for retirement, guys. We never do. We never have done. But when he says it himself, let's just hope he follows through with it, because as we saw in Saudis, me and Dave said last week, you could tell he's done. And the dude he fought, no one's ever heard of him. You have to box wreck him. I don't think he's been seen since. So that kind of sums up where Kovalev is in his life. Next time we talk about him, Dave, let's just hope we're talking about his career and what he's doing now, rather than seeing him get in with a top 15 guy and actually get smashed to bits, But yeah. Performance of the weekend, brother. I know you said there wasn't too many great cards, and I totally agree, but there were some good bits and pieces going on. Where's your performance of the week, mate? Weekend.
I'm gonna go for Fundora.
Snap. Yeah, definitely. She's a pleasure to watch, and it's simple as that. Does everything right. She's in those 2-minute rounds. She makes the most of them. She looks to seek and destroy and hurt people. I don't think you can look anywhere else, to be honest.
To be fair, if Ben Whittaker wasn't Ben Whittaker and the shenanigans, based on what happened in the first fight, and then coming in and doing that, what he done based on the first fight is good, but because of the way he is, dampens it.
And the controversy around it as well. The controversy on the stopping, it wasn't black and white, was it? So we both questioned it.
But like I say, if he was a more likable character, people go, do you know what, fair play? Like after all that's what's gone on, questioning yourself, you've come in, you've done that, fair play, regardless of the stoppage. But because of the way he is, it's hard. It's hard to get on board with it. So he lets himself down, but by the way, his arrogance.
Yeah, definitely, mate. So that's it for this episode on this Monday morning. We'll be back on Thursday for our preview show. We'll go through the prediction league and a bit of David McDonald, and obviously it's Eubank Ben. So we're going to break that down, which I'm looking forward to. So much to talk about, so much to say, and our predictions along with it. Where do they go next? All that kind of jazz. But you'll get that from us on Thursday. So that's the end of episode 119. I'm going to wrap it up now, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Help us grow. Get those algorithms going. It's slowly growing, but as I always said from day one, as long as one person's listening to our content, I am happy. But it'd be nice if you've got to put a few more O's on top of that one, So, yeah, I think I'm having a bit of a family outing in a couple of hours' time, going to some sort of alpaca farm. Don't ask.
Any beers?
No. I'm going to give it a rest for a bit now, mate. I'm going to give it a rest for a bit. Don't drink, kids. It's actually destroyed my liver. But that's a promise. I'm going to upload this, I think I'm going to have an early night back to work for me tomorrow. What's your plans for the rest of the afternoon, mate?
I'm not doing a lot today, mate. I've had a weekend.
Few beers?
No. No, I've got work tomorrow as well, so
yeah,
I've got to be up at 5:30, so I won't be going on the piss. No, I'm going to just relax today. Watch a bit on the telly. I think she's going to do a roast. She worked yesterday.
Nice.
She done 15-hour shift, so she wasn't in the house.
Long.
Yeah, so we're going to have a roast today.
What we got? We've got beef, chicken, turkey, pork, lamb.
Lamb. Love a bit of lamb, mint sauce. Yeah. Oh, God, stop it. I'll be doing that today, mate, and not doing a lot. So we've got this done early. So we're doing this at 8:00 tonight, which is I love doing it. Don't get me wrong. I've got no qualms in doing it, but it's nice to get it out of the way early.
Definitely.
Might watch a few films today. Do fuck all.
Lovely. Typical bank holiday Monday then, mate.
Yeah, that's it. The weather's shite. I've walked the dogs already. Yeah. I'll probably take them out about 5:00 again, and that's them done. So it's happy days, mate. Yeah, just living family life, my friend.
Yeah, and hopefully for all you lot out there watching or listening, enjoy family life if you've got one. If not, just enjoy life. And we'll be back on Thursday to enjoy life, talking about Eubank versus Ben. So until then, guys, have a great week. I was going to say enjoy the boxing, but there ain't none until the weekend. Stay safe. Dave, enjoy your lamb, brother. And to everybody, peace out, guys.
Take care, me old China.